Are you ready to answer Chris's question?
Yep, got it, ready.
It says, what is the math behind maxing out a Roth IRA before going back to a 401k? Assuming I contribute $7K post-tax dollars to Roth or $9,333 equivalent pre-tax to 401k. And that's assuming a 25% effective tax rate. That was a lot of numbers. But you get the gist. What's the thought about putting the Roth IRA in the financial order of operations before going back and maxing out that 401k?
Here's what he did math. He figured out, right, what the pre-tax savings equivalent is to the after-tax savings. If I put $9,333 in, it's the same as saving $7,000 after-tax or post-tax in Roth. I didn't check his math, so if that's wrong, it's not me, it's his math. His question is, why do we start with Roth? Like, why do we start tax-free? Why do we think when you're working through the financial order of operations, Brian, will you hold the thing up for me?
Oh.
When you're working through the financial order of operations, and if you want your copy, you can go to moneyguy.com/resources and download that. Why do we prioritize tax-free assets over pre-tax assets? Why do we think that is better when it comes to building up your tax buckets?
Well, while we're on this trend of showing things that you can download at moneyguy.com/resources, you also go to our wealth multiplier and you can look at what every dollar has the potential to become.
Yep.
And here's where he's exactly right in the fact that yes, you get to save more if you did the pre-tax versus after-tax, but it's that tax-free growth. It grows upon itself 88 times over. Plus, it's not either or, it's and.
That's it.
That's the other part I like is step 5 is the IRA. But then don't forget, then step 6 is max out the employer plan. You get to do both.
Yep.
So you actually can save, if you got, whatever his number, 9,300 or whatever it was, you could do the amount and then do more. I want you to save more while you're young and letting your army of dollar bills have that wealth multiplier opportunity. That's the reality of the situation. There's a lot of people. Plus, I also remind people that there's opportunities as you have more success, you're going to pay, because we're in a progressive tax rate system here in America. It goes up. Usually when you're younger making those Roth contributions, you're in a lower tax rate situation, whereas later you're going to be in a higher tax rate situation, so you'll want to take the deduction then, and that's why we always talk about where tax rates are. And then the hope is also when you get to retirement, there's another opportunity because you're once again in a lower tax rate situation because you don't have earned income, and you can do Roth conversions instead of taking those required minimum distributions. So there's a whole strategy there. But I love it because there is content out there where they say, this is just a sleight of hand, it's a math thing because one's pre-tax, one's after-tax, there's there, but it's more about the behavior, the compounding growth, the tax-free growth, and then also just the change of what happens as you make more money through your seasons of life and then hit retirement.
And then there's some additional flexibility that exists. I mean, I love what you said. In our ideal world, even if you're a super high income person and you're over the 30% and you understand that, okay, if my marginal rates are over 30%, I should do pre-tax. Even in that scenario, we would love for you to be doing backdoor Roths to max those out and doing your HSA and maxing out your 401k and then adding money to a taxable account. But you have to have a pretty high income to be able to save in all those buckets and still be able to live life. But another big benefit of the Roth and why we encourage people to fund those early and whenever available is they're not subject to required minimum distributions the same way that pre-tax assets are. By the time that you get into your 70s, if you've built up this huge bucket of all these pre-tax assets, you are going to lose control of your tax situation. Uncle Sam is going to say, hey, you have to start pulling this money out under current law at age 75. With those Roth dollars that you're building up, or with the Roth 401k dollars you're building up, there are no required minimum distributions. So there's a chance. We talk all the time about how for a 20-year-old, $1 can turn into 88 by the time they're 65. Well, if that's in a Roth IRA, that $1 might not actually get spent until 80, 85, 90 years old. Now you're talking about tons of tax-free growth that's happened over your entire life. That's a thing that's available inside of the Roth that's not available inside of the pre-tax accounts.
And then last thing, just to put the exclamation point on it, the reason we like the Roth IRAs, even over sometimes your employer plan, is The employer plan is you have to love the one you're with, meaning you don't get to control who your employer chose for the 401k provider. Maybe you work for a big company and it's one of the big brokerage companies like Fidelity, Vanguard, or Schwab or something, and kudos to you. But a lot of employers, they don't have access to those low-cost plans. But with a Roth IRA, you choose. You're in the driver's seat of choosing, hey, who do I want to be my custodian? What do I want to pay? In internal expenses and all the other fees, and how efficient do I want to be with index investing? You are the driver of all those decisions, and you get to you don't have to worry about, is this the right investment company that I'm having to partner with.